the crack of dawn, when new babies are born. Serious pains of labor they struggle through not to get drowned. Little stubborn angels they toil to see beautifully grown. Even at dawn, they usually kept the watch alone. If you remember about the basa say so, a bra going to the moon some dorsal. Nasa when it's any asumje wa brabo mu baby paya, now we can boafo. Mpenisi boafo ena, ishanka obo ade say o ma yena. Obata yenim die ni babedie ampa. Misu a meteye, mwana ma metete me. Na ye mi se oni te mama me. Na so say na your domro so a. Mama nyini fe say. All the tears I had to share during mama's training. Those days, I thought she had the least sympathy. Little did I know, its abundance was shaping me up this beautifully. Mama, you are beautiful. Mama, you are God sent. Sementia, Nyamiama, Mihima, when you move fra wasam, Misu awate, said ye ube home and nim Syria. Mama, I mean sure a move so. Means now some pona masari. Dear Namin Yamao, dear catch me. Tell me what I would have done without you. When after all my waywardness you still embrace me. Tell me who will always be there to comfort me. If not for that undying love I always find in you. Mama, listen every day I say,
oh, mama, oh, anything that you want I go do for you. Oh, oh, mama, oh, may the living God bless you every day. Oh, mama, oh, anything that you want I go do for you.
It's candy bait, oh my god.
Odoman kumanda uruma yesi afufu. Afidi o say timi ko yenim. Ene ti niam bi wo ha mama yinyai. Oni me ya agina, jemeso munyai.
It's candy bait, oh my god.
Dey kind. Mama serious amuni nyame throw. O sampe so be yedwuma den. Sorry na won kwa sa subai no. Waje yo so bi na yo dia. E bi antimi nya onti akwadro no. Otu nre gu abontia. Na wo pese zoom lion na me pra. Da wo pese o man ni koso a. Ni etu nyare wa nyina ase a. Abembu oni abonsia no. This is real.
Hello everybody. Sorry for the delay. There has been some technical issues here and there, and our host is finding it difficult to join us today. I guess she's coming now, so when she joins in, I'll leave the stage for her to continue. I think she has joined at the moment, so I'll leave everything to her to continue. Hello, Miss Ekia Safo, our host Minaya Ideas. Please, can you hear us? Hello. I saw her joining, but I think there is some technical issue, so I'll continue with her role at the moment. So welcome you all to the Everything Health and Wellbeing community, and we aim to educate the public or community on everything health, which parenting is also included. So today we have in our midst Miss Ikia Ahenepa Safua, who is coming to speak to us about positive parenting. So what advantage does other children have? So what advantage do other people have because you are the parent of your children? How positive are you being to your children, and how well are you impacting society with what you are doing? So therefore, we are here to discuss positive parenting. So I'll leave the stage for her to carry on. And if our host comes in, she will take it up from there. Thank you all, and sorry for the delay.
Yeah, hello everyone. Please, I believe I can be heard.
Your voice is a bit low. Yeah, we can hear
Hello,
you. We can hear you.
is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good evening to all of us. I'm excited to be here. Actually, it's one of my favorite topics. Parenting is one of the topics or the things that I really love to talk about. So I thank you all for joining us. And um, I've actually had the opportunity. Okay, I've already been introduced, as she said, Rita said, my name is Ikia Safo, and so let's take it from there. I've had the opportunity to parent some kids. I think it was 5 years ago or four. Yeah, so I had the opportunity to parent some kids, and I actually did my best. But even with that, I knew there was something I could do better. So I left there and I was now on my own, thinking of, I think it was on a Mother's Day. We were celebrating Mother's Day. And then I said to myself, so how am I going to, if I should give birth now, how is my child going to be different from other children? What sort of training or guidance am I going to give to my child so that when if I should see my child at 25 years old, what kind of child do I want to see? So I started, searching for information, reading on parenting. Then I got pregnant along the line. And then I started learning, on parenting. It's true. When every woman gets pregnant, I mean, they become more intentional. They begin to do a lot of research on, their baby's health, on pregnancy, anything. So mine was on parenting because I didn't want to mess up on the journey. So I was just reading, searching for information. And so that is how come I really want us to talk about this. So as a parent, one thing that we need to know is every child is a response to global cry. That's whenever
Hello. Um Hello, our guest. Please, you are mute. Can you please unmute yourself? I think you're muted.
oh sorry. Hello.
We can hear you now.
Okay, so where did it get muted?
I think it's from my end. We are trying to get the
Oh,
host
okay.
on, but it's becoming a problem. So, yeah, sorry about that.
All right. So I'm taking it from here. So, as a parent, one thing you need to ask yourself is I got muted again, but I have unmuted.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah.
Can I continue or I should hold on?
Yes, please, you can continue.
Okay, so one thing that you need to ask yourself, and you don't need to become a parent before you begin to, start thinking about these things. You need to know even before you become a parent. I think that we should create a system wherever in Ghana or wherever. I think we should have a system whereby before you become a parent, before you get married, you are taking through something at least to understand what parenting is about so that when you are doing it intentionally. You are not doing it because once you've become a mom or you've become a dad and therefore you become a natural. No, no one becomes a natural at parenting. You need to learn. Just as um, if you want to become a wealthy person, it doesn't just happen. You go through. There are things you need to do. You need to be intentional. You need to work very hard. You need to be consistent. That is how you become wealthy. So if you want to become, a great parent, if you want to raise a king, there is something you need to know to be able to do that. So one question that we should ask ourselves is that are you going to become a blessing to your child, or you are going to become a burden to your child? So before you depart from this world, you need to make impact. And the impact that I'm talking about is not the number of cars you have, the number of houses you have built, or you're going to leave behind. No, it is who your children become, okay, after you have left this world. Will your children be excited to say that I was raised by this woman? Will they be excited to say that I was raised by this man? That is one question we need to ask ourselves. And also, let's note that every child is a response to global crime. So whenever there is, whenever we as humans, there is stress going on, whenever we cry, whenever we pray to God about the bad things that are happening, let's note that God answers, okay? God answers. And one of the way he does that is that he plants a child in a family. And so that child becomes the answer to the cries. So the fact that you see problems around the world is not that God has not sent a solution. The problem is the fact that the handlers, okay, cannot recognize the solution. So they divert the solution into something else. So I ask myself mostly, if Mark Zuckerberg, okay, was planted in your family, if you happen to give birth to a child, like if maybe you had Mark Zuckerberg as a child, are you sure there's going to be Facebook? He could probably become a doctor or a lawyer. I'm not sure that there will be something called Facebook, because our parenting style could destroy the what that child has come here on earth to do. So let's be very careful with the way we parent our children. So one thing that I would want to talk about is how you can parent your child for your child to become an advantage to you. How you can parent your child for your child to become a blessing to you. So first of all, I would want to talk about growth. Growth. So the first job when you become a parent, the first thing you need to do is you need to grow. You need to grow. You don't, when you become a parent, the first thing you do is not to parent the child. No, you need to grow, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give the child what you have to give the child if you, as a person, you don't know what you have to do to raise that child to become who God has said the child should become. So you need to grow as a parent before you can bring up that child. So that is your first assignment. Nobody can deliver beyond their capacity. You need to grow as a person. You need to learn more. There are lots of resources that you can learn from. You need to do your research before you have in mind the kind of child you want to groom, the kind of child you want to see, the kind of person you want to see in your child. So if you have that, you need to learn, how do I begin to bring up this child? What systems do I have to put in place to be able to bring up the child to become who God has said this child should become? Okay, so the next thing that I would want to talk about is, what is your vision? What is your vision as a parent? A visionless parent is a parenting disadvantage to their child. Let me say that again. A visionless parent is a parenting disadvantage to your child. You have no vision. You don't know where you are going. You don't know what is happening. You know, I most of the times hear that vision without action is just a dream. But I would say that action without vision is a nightmare. A lot of people are running, a lot of people are parenting with no vision. Okay, they are just running, they are just doing anything. Then you ask them, where are you running to? Then they say, nowhere. Like you don't know, you don't have any vision. You are just doing because you have a child. Then you know, yes, I'm a parent. Like I know how to do it. When the child does something, you talk to the child anyhow. You as a parent, I always say that the moment you become a parent, you lose that opportunity or to do just anything. You can't do just anything and expect the child to be a different thing. You want the child to be a responsible being. You want the child to do this. You want the child to do that. But you, as a parent, are doing something else. How do you expect the child to learn? They will do exactly as you're doing. Children copy a lot. So, whatever you as a parent are doing, that is what they are watching. That is what they are looking. And that is exactly what they are going to become. So you need to have a vision where you are going. Where do I want my child to be in the next, when the child turns this age? What do I have to see in the child? So you have to know all of these to help you structure what you are going to be teaching the child, the connection. You have to have connection with the child to be able to, correct the child. And without all these things, you'll be doing a course 90 job. We all know what is going on around the world, the LGBT community. This is not to scare anyone, but we are just telling you so that put up some. If you are a parent here, you know you have work to do. You can't just do anything. There is the LGBT community pushing. They have curriculums that they are pushing into schools to be taught to children. I don't know. It may not be in Ghana here, but it's happening in other African countries. Luckily for us here in Ghana, we have there's one MP who is really fighting against that thing. So, but it's still here. People are still doing it. Okay, people are still doing it. So, how are you going to be able to bring up your child so that if your child should find themselves amongst these people, the child will be able to say no to it? How? There is a how, there is a way to do it. So, you need to know all of these things so that you know what to teach your child uh, now. And then also, you need to know the third point, you need to know who the child is. Do you know the temperament of the child, the learning style of the child? If you don't know all of these things, you'll be doing anything. So let me give there's one woman who I was listening to who shared her story. She says when they were kids, they were three, and she was the second, and she had an elder sister, and the elder sister was like everywhere. She loved making friends. She was everywhere, and the parents were the mom and dad were always talking, beating the child. Don't go here. Don't do this. Don't. Oh, it was all about beating, no correction. And then it got to a point. The sister had depression. When she grew, she had depression. She couldn't, like, she didn't have the right tools. The parents didn't know the kind of child that they have brought. They didn't know the child was sanguine. And so, as if I'm raising a child with this temperament, this is what I need to do. If I'm raising a child who is phlegmatic, this is what I need to do. If I'm raising a child who is choleric, this is what I need to do. Nothing. The parents were ignorant. So they didn't understand the temperament of the child to be able to help bring the child in a certain way or in the way that they had to bring the child. So the child grew up and suffered, depression. She didn't even know like the purpose. She was beaten and she was traumatized. So when she grew, I think she just found herself in, the mom wasn't there for her, the dad wasn't there for her. And for the woman that was sharing her story, she was like, she was saved as a result of the kind of people she mingled with. That is how come she turned out to be a better person. But the sister committed suicide and then she died. So you see how wrong parenting, and that maybe this particular woman was supposed to be, you know, she had been destined to come and do something great in this world, but because of how she was parented, look at where it ended. So please, let's know the temperament of our children. There is how to bring up a child who is sanguine. There's how to bring up a child who is choleric, who is, all the temperaments. There is a way, there is how to do it. Let's not just do anything. You find your child is always talking, your child is everywhere, all of that. You don't have you don't that you shut the children up. Keep quiet, like always shutting them up. There is something in them, that talking that they are talking, they can become great speakers someday. But we kill all of that when they are young. We don't help them, you know, develop those skills. We kill all of that. And then when the kids grow, there is no purpose, there's nothing. If God doesn't intervene, then you have killed a destiny. And as a parent, you are a custodian of destiny. God, you once you become a parent, okay, you become a co-creator with God. You become a co-creator with God, and God trusts that you can bring this child up into what He has said the child should become. So you can't just do anything. You can't say you don't have time to parent this child. I don't have time to parent. I am busy. I am this. I am that. If you know, I always say this. If you know you can't have the time to parent your child, please sit your somewhere. Sit somewhere. Don't rush into giving birth, because you can bring parenting. As you are bringing up the child can become a great person in the society, or can become a burden to the society. So which one do you want to raise? Do not let society, force you into doing something you are not ready to do. If you see yourself, you are ready to become a mother, a father, please, then you can do it. But if you know you don't have the time, you can't have the time to do it, don't rush. Don't rush, because I tell you, parenting is not easy. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. Okay, so you need to know the temperament of the child. You need to know the learning style of the child. You need to know what type of child you are bringing up. Your child. We have the auditory learners, the visual learners, the kinesthetic learners. If your child is kinesthetic, what do I have to do to help the child who is kinesthetic to learn? If my child is a visual learner, but you're always talking, 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 the child wouldn't hear anything. You are talking to them and they will be, looking at something they have seen in your face, and that is where their minds are. And you also always, I don't know, we custom show, I wouldn't say, you always let me talk, you always let me talk. And all your comments are negative, negative. My child cannot, my child cannot, my child. You don't know the child you are raising. You, the parent, you don't even know yourself, let alone know the child you are raising. So the child will always be a problem to you. But it's not the problem of the child, it's you, the parent. Work on yourself, grow as a parent to be able to bring up the child. Okay, so the next thing that I would want to talk about is skills. You need to build skills in these children. You need to teach them financial management skills. You need to teach them kitchen or cooking skills. The skills are a lot: home management skills, emotional control skills, social skills. If I'm to go deeper, we are not living here today. So teach your kids skills, communication skills, household chores, travel skills, self-esteem skills, executive functioning skills, leadership skills, social skills, all of time management skills. You need to teach them. You need to have a curriculum for every child you are bringing up. That is why I say all the time, you don't really need to bring up, like, give birth to so many children. If your capacity is to just one child, just give birth to one child and make a great impact in that child. Okay, that child, if you give birth to only one child and then you're able to bring them up in a very intentional way, that child can save nations than you bringing up 10 children and then not having anything for them and then they becoming a burden to society. So please, let us check all of these things. Have a curriculum for each child. Know your child. Have a curriculum for them, and then know the areas that you need to really teach them, and then begin today. Okay, you can say that this month we are doing communication skills. So you know the various aspects under communication skills. You need to teach them how. You need to teach them honesty. You need to teach them how not to talk when someone is talking. You need to teach them team building, active listening. So you have all of that. You put all of them. Maybe this week, this is what we are going to talk about. And it should be consistent because children forget. You tell them something today, and then tomorrow they are doing something else. That is how they are. They have, if you know the attention span of kids according to the ages, you understand what I'm saying. So maybe after I'll share it in the group so that you know the attention span of your kids per their ages. So you teach them. Always make sure you are consistent. So you teach them, they get it, you move to another topic, then you come back to it. It's like that. Parenting is an 18-year journey. Parenting is an 18-year journey. After 18 years, you see your report card. You are a mother for life, you are a father for life, but the time that you have is from 0 to 18 years. So between these years, what are you going to do? Okay, what are you going to do to make sure that you have brought up a responsible child? There's a way to bring up girls, there's a way to bring up boys. Guys, let's learn. Let's learn. There's a way to do it. And I'll share some books in the community too, so that if you want to know more about it, you can just go ahead and then read. And also, I would want to talk about, I've talked about creating the family vision. You need to have a family value. You need to know your values too. Maybe if you may not be married, but whether you are married or not, you need to know your values and teach the kids. Let them know who they are, their identity. Teach them their history, the family that you come from. There is something that makes the family unique. Let the children know who they are, and they will be grateful to you that you did. Maybe in our family, we like, we talk, we teach, we are teachers, and through teaching, you can become a great person. Maybe in our family, we do this. This is what makes us unique. Teach the children your values. Okay, teach the children your values so that they will not depart from it when they grow. So please, let us do all of these things. There are a lot of things that I would want to talk about, but I think we are working with times, and some people may want to ask some questions. So I would want to end here, but let's note that parenting is our responsibility, and it's not God's responsibility. God has trusted that you, when he gives you that thing, that mandate, he trusts that you can do it. So let us all learn. It is through learning, seeking knowledge, seeking wisdom. That is how we become the that is how we will be able to, bring up the children that God wants us to bring up. And let me talk about this last thing too, is the environment. What type of environment are you creating for your child? Where are you bringing up your children? What kind of, are you raising them anywhere? I tell myself there are some communities I will never stay because of, you know, what happens in that community. I wouldn't want to raise my child in that community. Never. So anytime I am relocating, I go there to search. I do a lot of, what happens here and all of that. I ask a lot of questions before I move to that community. It's very important. And then in your home, what are you creating for the kids? you know do you encourage learning? Do you read with your kids? What are you creating in your home so that the kids, whenever they go out, they are happy to come home? Whenever they see mom and dad, they are happy to be with mom and dad. They value their family, they love their family. Do you affirm these kids every morning? Today, I was washing with I actually have three kids that I'm bringing up. One is my biological child. The other two, I am bringing them up. So we were doing some laundry, and then they love asking questions. They can ask you questions, and if you are not careful, you can just blow up. So they were asking questions, and one my daughter said, "Mommy, you any question that we ask you, you have an answer for us." And I said, "Yes, it's because I always learn. Mommy always learns. If you ask me any question and then I don't know, I tell you I don't know. So let's go and do what and search for the answer. We are all going to do it together." I said, "Yes, mommy, you've been doing that, but almost every question, you have answers." And I told her, you have to always be learning. You can also do that. You can also know so that people will come to you to ask you to seek knowledge from you. Okay, so I have pushed something in them that for them to become this person, this is what they need to do. And I'm always going to be repeating it. I'm always going to be repeating it. So that is how you do it. You can't be perfect. Parenting is not perfection. You don't need to be perfect all the time, but at least with intentionality, you will know what to do per time. If you see that there is maybe you say, for instance, if I see my child putting up a certain behavior, I sit down and ask myself, no, there is a problem somewhere. There is something that I need to do because you know, for instance, last time I had a visitor, we were talking, and then she came, one of my children came, and she just came to join. She was talking and all of that. So I told her, can she give me a moment, please? I want to finish with the visitor so that we continue with whatever we are doing. Previously, I would have shouted on her, but now I am very intentional with how I treat them. So when they went, I took my time and then taught her, when mommy has a visitor, this is what you should do and all of that. So anytime I see something wrong elsewhere, I don't blame the child. They don't know. They came into this world blank. They don't know anything. It is true, our teachers. And discipline is not punishment. Let's not think discipline is teaching. Discipline is different from punishment. Punishment, you are just doing something, you're causing pain to someone, and you don't correct a behavior through punishment. You don't do that. You teach so that you teach to correct a behavior, and then when to make sure that behavior has the child has understood it very well. You need to follow up with a consequence. So in our home, we have written the behaviors that we don't want, and then we have the consequence so that the kids know that, okay, if I do this, this is going to be the consequence I have to face. And I am very firm with that. We are very firm. If you put up that behavior, you are going to face the consequence. And kids will try you. Never try to how do I even put it? Uh this way, like never try to tell kids something you know you wouldn't do. Don't threaten them. No, they will try you. Okay, I want to try mommy and daddy. If what they said they really meant it, so put up the consequence. The moment they do what they are not supposed to do, this is the consequence you are going to face for doing this. Make sure they face that consequence, and next time they wouldn't repeat that thing again. It's not about beating, it's not about shouting. Those things don't bring anything. I know, it's sometimes difficult, but you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to be able to control your emotions. You need to be able to think as a parent. If your child does something, sit back. Instead of, taking an immediate action, sit down, sit back, and ask yourself questions. Why is my child doing this? What am I doing wrong? What am I not teaching the child? You see, when you sit down and ask yourself these questions, you're going to definitely find an answer to it. So, I would want to end here, Rita, so that in case anyone has any questions, if I am to talk, I'm going to talk and talk and talk. So, I'd want to end here so that if anyone has any questions, um, we can talk about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Ikia Ahinipa, for this wonderful presentation. Yes, this is actually insightful and educative, and we as parents or incoming parents need to do better, need to learn, as she said, need to have vision. We have to be willing to grow. We have to know our children. We shouldn't be shutting our children up and all of these things. So I do have a question. In the case where, you said parenting is teaching. So in the case where you give birth to a child, a special need child that has a mental health issue, like the brain is not really functioning properly, in the case where you teach this child and they are not able to cope with it, how do you manage it? What do you do? Because there are cases of children that have murdered their parents and some of these things. So what would you advise as a parent or as a teacher for parents for them to do in this case?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for the question. And what I would say in response to that is, um, okay, so let me start from this. Let me start here. Mostly, we need to, as parents, control screen, what we expose our children to, what they watch. Sometimes they have these thoughts, killing our parents and all of that. As a result, it's because of the movies they watch, the kind of things they watch on television, and they think it's good. That is the information they are getting. So they are you just let your children watch anything, and then it just sticks like that, and then they try to do what is in the movies, what they show in the movies. So please, let's watch the screen. How long we expose our kids to the screen, let's watch it. And then also, if your child has a mental issue, I would advise you take them to a specialist. That is what I would do, because you can't, if there is a mental problem, then you don't have to sit there and watch. You need to really go and see a specialist to help you.
All right. Thank
I
you.
hope I've answered you.
Yeah, you've answered, but the specialist can only keep them for a time when they are better, when they are okay a little bit, because you need to have contact with your children in as much as they have mental health issue. But your answer is actually perfect for it. So I would say that we are open to suggestions, questions, and then any contribution from anybody. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen Pastor Robert on it. I've seen Dr. Safo on it today. Welcome, Dr. Safo. I've seen a lot of people as well. And then we would love to have your input as we do always. Kindly raise your hands and then we will let you in to give in your contribution. Emmanuel says he wants to contribute. So before Emmanuel comes in, Sister Equia, so let's say your child is healthy. You've parented the child in the way that you suggested that the child should be trained and brought up. And then the child goes wayward because there are instances where you have done your best, but the child decides to go wayward because of the environment or whatever. You can only control a certain amount of things. You can control the environment, but you don't go to class with them every day. You don't go to school with them every day. When you go to church with them, you don't stay at the same place with them every time. So what would you do? So after this, I'll actually bring in Emmanuel, and everybody could ask to join in as well. Yeah.
Okay, Rita, what I would say is, you know, try your best as a parent. Do what you have to do as a parent. Of course, the child you can do all you have to do, and the child would one day turn out, as a different person. But at the end of the day, you did what you had to do. You tried your best. You understand? You did all that you have to do. And if the child goes wayward, it's their shame. Let them carry their shame. You shouldn't carry the child's shame. It shouldn't be on you. But trust me, if you are able to do it intentionally, if you are able to, parenting is not easy. Sis, parenting is hard, but you need to choose your hard. It's very hard. You need to do a lot of intentionality. You need to have a curriculum. You need to have a plan how you are going to do it, because there are people who have been brought up. There are kings. There's a way to bring up kings. We need to bring up our children in such a way that they instead of when they get to a stage where they get the negative peer pressure, our kids are giving them positive peer pressure. There are negative peer pressures, there are positive peer pressures. So let's raise up our kids. I tell you, if we are able to do that, I know my kids go to school, they come back, I ask them what went on. We talk a lot, and I know even with what I'm doing, I started not too long ago. I became very intentional not too long ago, but the results I see, what they are not perfect. We are all not perfect, but I see certain things. I see some changes. So please, let it, I believe, unless we are doing it anyhow and we are deceiving ourselves that we are doing it intentionally, there's a way. Seek knowledge. The child will be that person, that great person, if we are doing it intentionally. If we do what we have to do, the child turns out, a different person. It's their shame, it's their burden. You did what God knows, you did what you have to do.
So thank you. I think Emmanuel Bedu's hand is up. Emmanuel, please, you can unmute yourself and then giving your contribution.
Hello, everyone. Once again, thank you, Madam Akuya, for this insightful presentation. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but I'll stick with just two. And if there's more time, I'll ask the other one. My first question is, how do I build self-esteem in my child? Like, I've realized that self-esteem is very, very important for any person. And if I have a child, how can I build my child? How can I help a child have solid self-esteem? And also, my other question is, what are the dangerous things not to do? What are the things that if I do as a parent is going to really, really harm my child in the future? These are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Can I go on, or should we take more questions?
So our host is here, so I'll let her take over from there. She's sorry for the inconveniences. She's here with another person's own, but Menai ideas is here, so she'll take over from me. Thank you.
Hello,
Yeah, hello.
can you hear me? All right. I'm sorry, I had a
Yeah.
few technical issues. So we'll just continue from where we already are. So I don't know, okay, if you would like to answer the question one after the other, or we should take all questions.
Okay, so I anyhow you want us to do it, it's fine with me.
Okay. Then I'll prefer we take one question, then the answer follows. So
Okay.
Emmanuel, I don't know if you're done with your questions.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, then over to you, Kia.
Okay, so the first question was how to build self-esteem in your children. Okay, so I would say that first of all, know who you are as a parent, know who you are bringing up, know the child that you are bringing up. Practice affirmations. You need to affirm the kids every morning. I love you. You are beautiful. You are this. I love the shape of your eyes. I love the shape of your nose. You look so beautiful. Like you are handsome. Please, let's not use beautiful for boys. Some people may disagree with me, but because of the current, what is going on, this LG, it confuses the kids. So please, if your child is a boy, tell them they are handsome. I love that you are a boy. I love that you are a handsome boy, just as daddy. I love that you are a beautiful girl, just as mommy. Affirm them. And also, um, identify what they are good at. Know what they are good at. Let them teach them to accept compliments. Teach them to say no. Teach them so that when they find themselves somewhere that they are being pressured to do something that is against their values, you tell them they will be able to say no, and then teach them their values all the time. What's your family values. Teach them. Always tell them we are this people. We are honest people. We don't tell lies. We don't do this. This is what we do. We are kings. We are queens. Affirm them. I mean, it's a lot. I hope that helps. And then also, the other question was things that you can do to destroy your child as a parent is by being ignorant. I'll simply put it, staying ignorant as a parent. Staying ignorant. Staying ignorant can really you can love your children. You can love them so much and still kill them. You can love your children and still destroy them. It's not about your intentions, the intentions you have for the kids. No, we all have good intentions for our children, but that isn't enough. Intentions alone are not enough. Saying you love your children is not enough. You need to do something. You need to do the work. You need to come from a place where you know what you are doing. You know the kind of child you want to see in the next 20 years, in the next 25 years. So this is what you have to do to bring forth that thing. Staying ignorant, you can totally destroy your child. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You shouldn't stay ignorant. And please, we are taking questions. If there are any questions, you can raise your hand and we will let you in. Are we all good? Okay, Emma's hand is up again.
Yeah, if there are no other questions, I would like to ask a couple of questions. Okay, my
Okay.
question is how do you know, as a somebody who has never had a child, how do you know it's the right time to give birth?
Nice question.
Okay, I think for that will actually depend on you, the individual. You need to, but what I think is, due to the experiences that I have had, I think you need to, first of all, know what parenting is about, because you are coming to, God is going to entrust, you are going to, how do I even put it? There is, let me say this. I wrote something down. Let me read it to you. A moment, please. Okay, so parenting is about taking the life of another person, molding it, handling that life to them, and stepping back at some point, knowing you've empowered them enough to navigate the rest of their lives by themselves. So you know you are going to have, how do I call it? You're going to mold someone to become something. You need to learn, you need to know. Like, you can't learn everything, you can't know all, but at least you need to have some knowledge. You need to make sure your finances, not, you are not like there, but at least you can be able to take care of the child. You can be able to provide certain things that the child will need. Life happens, things happens, but at least if you are intentional about these things, it will help. You will know. And then also, no, you don't have to just give birth with any, like, just anyone. You need to study, know the kind of person, because it's you want to, embark on something intentional, and you need to find someone. You either find someone and then help them also to understand, what you want to know. Like, you help them know, this is what I want to know, this is what we want to do before we give birth. So you help them. If they understand you, and they get what you are talking about, then fine, you can do it with them. So I think these are the things you need to know before, if you want to marry or. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Ikea.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you're done. Rita's hand is up, so we take Rita.
Okay.
So, like, thank you, Minaya, for the opportunity once more. So, I would like to ask, in a society where we are, that frowns on people that do not take care of their children, but then again are in for people that are willing to keep it without fathers. So,
I
without
can
fathers, like,
hardly hear you, Rita. Can you repeat what you said again?
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, so I said, in a in a in a world where we frown on people that do not take care of their children, which is wrong, but accept people that are willing to have children without parents. When I say without parents, I mean you can get sperm donors without traces and have children with the aim of being a single mother on purpose. Is it positive in your own view?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sorry. I am using my phone and I just had a call. Could you repeat it again? I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So I asked, in the world we are, that do
Mhm.
frown on, so you can actually take a father of your child that does not take care of their children to all of these social welfare communities to be handled, but the same society allows women to donate sperm, to get sperm donated to them to be used without traces, like they don't know the father of their children, with the aim of taking care of them alone, with the intention that they don't want a man's input in the lives of their children, and they want to just have control of the child, and they are willing and they are capable of doing it. In your opinion, is it positive to take that step, and what can somebody do when they see something like this, and what should the society or the government be doing about some of these things?
Hmm. You've asked the question. Okay, for me, I don't agree with that. I mean, because parenting, you don't have to do it alone. It's so tedious. You can't do it alone. And even for not putting that aside, You need a father, a boy, okay? A boy needs the father and a girl needs the father. Because men, you can to be able to bring up a responsible man, that you need to get, even if you don't have a husband, even if your husband is late or there's been separation or any sort of thing, you need to get a father figure for the child to model after. You are a woman. As a woman, you can't, like, let's put this thing aside that women can do anything that the men do. No. No. A man, a boy needs a father figure. So you going to, take some sperms because you want to bring up the child, you want to take total control of the child. It's a no-no for me. I don't think, if we understand parenting, if the government is serious and understands what parenting entails, I think that thing will be like, it will be banned. I don't think it is something that has to be encouraged.
Okay, I don't know if I can come in. But when it comes to sperm donor issue, some people intentionally go for it not because they want to take total control over the child's life, but for their own sanity, psychology issues, because of experiences that they've had with men. In such
Hmm.
instances, what do those people do?
Okay. So I think they are doing that. It's coming from, like, how should I put it? The fact that someone, okay, the fact that a man or like some men have done something to you doesn't mean all men are the same. So it's good. You may be doing it out of not to take, not to take total control and all of that. But at the end of the day, you need to get a father figure. If the child you are, even if the child is a girl, a girl child still needs a father figure in their lives. So if you can get, a father figure, someone not necessarily the biological dad of the child, but at least anyone who can stand in as a father to, do the father role for the child, I think it's better if you understand that if that is, it, if you are getting a father figure for the child, then I think it's okay. But if it's to take total control because you don't want to, like, for your own personal whatever, then I think it's not right. I think Rachel's hand is up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Um, Waiting for the host to give me the opportunity. Hello, host. Please, can I come in? Okay. So, um, I believe I can go ahead. So, in the case where um, somebody somebody decides to have a child alone on their own, I believe that comes with a mental health issue because if you are not able to heal from what you've been through and then you decide to
Mhm.
have a child, you are coming from a place of pain. So
Yeah.
you can't, first of all, love the child. Two, you are going in with the wrong reasons. And second, thirdly, you are being selfish because I don't think anybody would be happy not knowing their parents, whether they are irresponsible, not present, not involving. Because let's see this current issue of Yvonne Nelson's father issue. Yes, of course, sometimes some of these things do happen. This, I think, wasn't intentional. I don't know if it is, but at least she could have. I believe the mom knows.
have a clue or something like that. It could be that the dad is dead. It could be that the dad is there. It could be that the dad is somebody who is not too fit or too good to be associated with her, so she's avoiding the association. But then again, how would you feel as a person if you are treated in this way? Like, why should you actually have a child without the traces of the other parent? And definitely, you can't have a child without having um, sperm and an egg. So, in the case where you do this to your child, you can't even parent the child really well. So I believe the government shouldn't even be allowing such things. Sometimes, some people can have donors because there are people clearly who do not have people that want them. Some people have um, health issues that nobody would like to be with them. If these people choose to have children and they want to, then again, I don't see why there could be people willing to donate sperms, but they can be known. And then the responsibility of them taking care of them could be off rather than having hard ties with them, being a secret and getting the sperm to fertilize an ovary, which is really concerning. But then again, it is normal. But if you are not able to cater for your children, whether you are not able to provide, you get into trouble. So I think there's something wrong somewhere.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Hello.
Do we still have the host here?
Um, so I would step in for her. So please, we are open to having your questions, your contributions. Emmanuel has his hands raised. So Emmanuel, you have the platform.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I've come across this thing called childhood attachment theory or something. It's like how you are brought up affects your relationship when you're older. Can you explain that to me a little bit more?
Hello, is our guest in here?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So he asked the issue of childhood attachment. So how close you are to your child determines how connected they will be with you when they grow up. He asked if you could help him answer some of these things.
Yeah, it's attachment theories. It's quite a whole lot if I'm to go in there. But yeah, it's true. The way a child is brought up, has how do I even put it? So I think I would have to go like I don't know if we can have another session on that, the attachment theories. Then I can really teach about that. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I think I went off for a bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Welcome back, our host. We give everything back to you.
Today I've not been the best of hosts.
No, that's fine.
My phone issues.
That's fine.
Okay.
Rita, please,
Um.
a moment, right? A moment.
Okay. Okay. So um somebody asked the question. I want to ask a question as well. So I want to add on to the question Emmanuel asked about the attachment theory. So right from birth, when you give birth to a child, the woman delivers the child. The child either comes out of the parents' private area, let's say it's like this, or they get they go through for instance surgery to be removed when there are complications. But then again, before the child is giving birth to they come, your umbilical cord is connected to your mother. Before anything, during the 9 month period, as the child develops, food, nutrients, everything passes from the mother to the father. So let me give you an analogy. In the case where you meet somebody and then you just even hug them, how they smell can actually be something that stays on you for a while. And then when you talk about having this umbilical cord connected and all of these things, there are emotions. So we have things that are connected, which are serving as signals to even our bodies and all of these things. So getting connected to a parent comes with that. First of all, body fluids from birth. And again, your DNA is just like there. So let's say you meet somebody who is your family member and then you know them. How you feel is different from seeing somebody else that you don't know. Secondly, if you stay with somebody, you have a connection with them that when you see them, you feel better. Like if you see your mom, you feel different. If you see your auntie, it's a little bit different from that. If you see a friend, somebody that you are not close to, it's different. So growing together with somebody, having memories as well, because the memories that you have with these people, whether positive or negative, and we always fight to have the positive ones, stays with the child. Because what you do for your children, it's not how much you give them, but the memories you have with them, how you make them feel. Because when you die, they wouldn't say you bought me a shoe, you bought me a drink, you bought me that. How you made them feel. Somebody could buy you £1,000 shoe, but the way they treat you could be bad, and that is not a good memory for the child. So this kind of child wouldn't have a great experience with their parents. So some of the things that we do helps our children get attached to us. There are certain children that they grow to become parents, staying together with their spouses, and they still feel like their parents should be their everything. It's how the parents brought them up. It's how connected they were with them. It's the memories they left them, and then how well they treated them. So if you want your child to love you, if you want your child to be there for you, you should exercise patience. You should love them from this angle and try to have positive memories with them, as our guest has been saying. So just a little bit to add on to the attachment style before she comes in with a full version of it. Coach, please, I'm done.
Hello, Ikea. Ikea, are you there?
Ikea said we should give her a moment
Oh, okay.
so we can actually go ahead. Somebody asked a question and I added on to it.
Okay.
Anybody come on.
Okay. So if anyone also has a contribution or something to add up, I think they can share. Okay, if no one, then let me say something. When it comes to the parenting issue, the deliberateness and intentionality is something that is very key that we should all look at. And again, sometimes what are what we think maybe what the child needs may not be what they truly need. So we shouldn't have um, a generalized way of raising our kids. I don't know if I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but let's say in a family of, let's say, 3 kids, everyone has their temperament, everyone has their how they want things to be handled, and they know what works for them. The child knows what works for them. So the parent has to equally know more. And in knowing more, make room for the child, to also listen to the needs of the child. So in quality management, they call something the voice of the customer. So it's based on the voice of the customer that you will provide the goods or the product or the service for the customer. Same way with child upbringing. Some children are tender, they want you to speak to them in a particular way and they'll get it done for you. They want you to groom them further, they want more attention and all of those dynamics. I don't know if it has been mentioned earlier, but my contribution or my top up to it is this one. The regardless the what we know about parenting, sometimes we should listen to the children as well and then try to take it from their angle with whatever we have learned, how we are seeing the world and their perspective, so that we will be able to like bring them up their way to equally survive or have a competitive advantage in this world. So that is my point. Ima's hand is up. Ima, please speak.
Okay, so what I have is more of a contribution than a question. So what I can say is when children come into this world, they are really clueless. They really don't understand something. As a parent, you can be angry with your child, but the child may think you don't love him or her, but that is not it. Probably maybe how your experience at work, maybe what a family member told you is what's making you angry. So and it's also very important. A child's life is built right from like 1 to 6 or 7 thereabout when they are coming up. Their formation years are very, very much important. So as parents, I think it's very important that we manage traumas for our children. Like for example, there has been a research that children who are mostly abused, sexually abused, who have been raped at a very young age, they grow up and it affects them so much. Their sexual health is all messed up, and sometimes in getting into relationships. And one thing that is difficult about these things is like the formation years has built the person, and these things, it becomes part of you unconsciously. You don't really, you can grow up and you may see you have problems in relationships. It's like every guy or every lady you meet, it doesn't work well. There are a couple of things, but you you may not know it, but maybe how you were brought up. Maybe when we were growing up, your parents made you earn the love. Maybe you were only loved when you had good grades. Maybe you were only commended when you did specific things. So you grew up thinking, I need to earn love. The only way that people can actually love me or accept me is by me doing something. And all these things can go ahead to affect you in so many ways with the people you connect with your relationships, and eventually marriage. So, as my sister said, it's very important how we treat our kids. The kids, they came to us, but they are not us. They are not our properties. Our job is to help prepare them for the future. So you don't own your child completely. You should make sure that everything that you do should be in a child's interest and usually not in your own personal interest. So this is what I can add to it. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ima. I think Akia is back and Rita's hand is up. So we'll take Rita and then Akia, you take over.
I would like to ask, in the case where the child's interest is supposed to be taken into consideration, where do you draw the line between the interest of the child being positive or negative, being helpful to them or not? Because what they want might not be the right thing to give them. So in this case, how do you manage?
Okay. Akia, will you take that?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, Rita.
Did you get her question?
No, no, could you please repeat it for me? Sorry,
Okay.
sorry about that.
So I asked, Ima said the child's need, because every child is different, their needs are different. So you should tailor your parenting to the child's need and then what they want. Not everything a
Mhm.
child needs is positive. So where do you draw the line between what they want, giving them what they want, whether good or bad, and then imposing things on them? How do you know, like, certain things might seem negative to you, but it might be what they need. Let's say somebody is 16, 17, 18, and they want to go for a party. You as a parent will think, oh, it's night time, it's not needed, and then you don't have to go out at this time. And it could be a genuine party that if they miss, it would have been a problem. So let's say my child needs something, what they want, I don't think it's right for them, and it continues to happen all the time. What can you do as a parent to be sure that you are providing what your child needs?
Okay, okay. All right, so I think that it will all come from your values as as a parent or as a family, you know. So if you have structured things, if you have put things together very well, I think at that age, 16 years or 18 or whatever, um, if the child knows, you know, you have really brought them up well to know their values and all of that, the child wouldn't even attempts being anywhere. And let's say if you know they are kids coming up, the child won't say anything. You need to, you the parents are the one in control. The kids, they don't know, they may not know what they are doing, they may not even know whether it's right or wrong or you know that sort. So you have to guide them. That is why you are there, to guide them, explain to them, if they do this, this is going to be the consequence, and if they don't do, this is what they will get. So what do they want? Try to, you know, reason with them, talk to them at that level, let them understand you, why they don't have to do what they are doing, why they have to do this. I think if you're able to explain from that point, basing on your values as a family, you will be able to guide them. And even you wouldn't even have to tell them what to do. They will know, this, I am not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that. You know, I think that is what we should do.
Okay. Rita, your hand is up again.
Yeah. So let's say your value as a parent is that you train your children to be Christians and all of that. So we have children that are in the media space at the moment. Let's say you start DJing, you start saying reciting poems and all of these things. And then there are certain functions that you need to be going as a child. What can the parents do? Is the parent supposed to stick to their morals and what they think is right for them or not? I do have a second question as well. I don't know if I should continue with it or wait when you are done with this one.
Please continue with it.
Okay, so the second one is in the African home. I think these days it's becoming better, but somebody could be 28, 25, 26, 27. Because the person is staying with their parents, the parent treats them as children. Lack of regards, especially when you are not having a job or you are not working, they treat you like a baby. You can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do this at certain times. Is this right? Because as parents, they think they have the or the permission to be doing these things because they are parenting you. But at that age where you need to also be growing and then finding your steps or trying to, like, let me just say it in this way. So a 25-year-old sometimes can't go out for parties or even go to programs with their friends, just normal friends, because it is considered that it's not okay. 25, but at a certain age where they think you should marry, they want you to provide husband or a girlfriend, what? Yeah, in the moment. So is this right? Is this parenting? Is this positive? What do you have to say about that?
Interesting. Okay, so I have something that I have stated in my as part of my parenting plan. I've stated in there that by age 23, my kids should be able to be by themselves. They should be able to have their own apartments, all of that. So your parents are not allowing you to go out because in the first place they think probably they haven't done their job well as parents, and they don't feel safer, they don't feel okay letting you go out even at that age where you are grown, like you've had the experiences. So they are afraid to let you go because they whatever thing that they may be afraid of. um, so if we have, as parents, if we have well-structured plan, you see, even by a certain age, you wouldn't have to be afraid because like your name that you have done your job well as a parent, and so therefore you are not afraid where your child will be because whatever that comes the way of your child can stand and defend themselves or say no to certain things and all of that. You trust your child, you believe in your child, so you've done your job well, so there's nothing to worry about. So that would be my answer to that. And then the first question, I think it skipped me that crowd. Rita, can you repeat the first question for me again?
So I was actually saying that how do you know that this is what the parent has to do for the child or not the one?
Okay, okay.
Don't know if
So
I've
as your kids, can I go on?
Yeah, you can go on.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. So, as the kids are growing, you know what's like from the formative years, you are with them, you are studying them, you know where they are good, what they are good at. So you guide them along the line. You don't force them to do what you, the parents, want. The Bible says, train up the child the way he should go, not the way you, the parent, should go. You understand? So you train them along that side. And of course there are positive and negative things, but you make sure you train them along the positive things. So that even if I recall you mentioned if your child wants to be if your child is a DJ or something. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you just have to, you can't stop the child. Maybe your child wants to that is where your child wants to be. Your child wants to do sports, public speaking, and all of that. There are negatives to everything and there are positives. So you make sure you guide the child along the positive side. That would be my response to that.
Okay. Is there any more questions or contributions? Somebody somebody asked if Ohinenana KA Safu says in terms of learning more about parenting, Can you recommend books that can help? I think this is to the guest.
Yes, 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 I can. There are lots of book. I'm going to actually, I have some PDFs I would share in the group. And then there is a book by Dr. James Dobson, Bringing Up Girls, The Strong-Willed Child, Bringing Up Boys. A lot of books, a lot of books. I'm sure you, um, if you go to the bookshop, you'll get a lot of. But I'll put some books in the group so that whoever would be interested can read.
Okay. Um, Rita.
Thank you, host, for the opportunity once again. I'm talking too much, but to the, people are not talking, so I'm just taking the opportunity
Yeah.
to the guest. Is it right? Do we need to train our children in a gender based? There are certain, so you have to train your child in a general way, like they have to know how, all of them have to know how to cook and all of these. But do you think that training of gender based training also be there regardless?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Please, are you done with the question? Or
Yes, I'm done.
okay. I think it's very, very, very important. You need to train the boys need to oh wait. The boys need to learn how to cook, the girls need to learn how to cook. You don't have to let the girls be in the kitchen all the time while the men are, somewhere doing what they want to know. At the end of the day, we want to bring up responsible men. And cooking, do you know what cooking also does? Apart from what we know, cooking helps the children with mathematics. If you have a problem, if your child has problems with maths in school, I've tried it with my daughter and she's doing excellent now. So what I do is in the kitchen, she's 6 years old in the kitchen, we measure everything. So as we are cooking, I'm cutting. So this is the onion. This is, if we cut it into two, we have half onion. When we are cooking rice, a cup of rice. When you want to cook a cup of rice, this is the quantity of water you need. So if I have tomatoes, 3 tomatoes, if I take out this, what will be the remaining? She had problems with subtraction, addition, and all of that. And through that, cooking, learning cooking and all of that, she's been able to, like, she did very well this term. She did very well in maths. So cooking helps, and you don't have to just teach the girls. What if you are not there as a parent tomorrow? Like, I mean, you need to do it in such a way that if I am not there tomorrow, and you are not going to be always there for your children, so you need to be able to arm them so that in your absence, they can still survive. So if you are raising boys and you are saying they are boys, so you are not going to teach them how to clean the room, you are not going to teach them how to cook and all of that. If mommy, daddy is not there, how are the kids going to survive? They can go and stay with their aunties and all of that, but that auntie that they are going to stay with, you don't know their parenting style. So you need to bring up the child in a way that whether mommy or daddy is there or not, they will still survive. And so any skill, you need to teach these skills to the kids. And you need to give the boy child more responsibility, more responsibility. You don't have to train them equally. Increase the boy's responsibility. It's very key. We need more responsible men. We need more responsible men. So if you have a boy child, I'll recommend Bringing Up Boys, Dr. James Dobson. Please take that book and read it.
Okay. More responsibility, ma.
Yeah, I would like to contribute to the last question. As Dion said, I just want to add a few things to it. Like, it's very important that if you're raising a child, the child should be able to take care of him or herself. because you were not going to be there for the child at the time. There may be a time they will have to live on their own. So cooking, washing, general hygiene, taking care of yourself is very, very important. I know we are coming from a
Yeah.
place that we think boys do this, girls do this. That's that is not acceptable because there may be times that life may happen for 2, 3, 4 years. Your child may be living alone, and they have to be able to do all these things for themselves. But with that in mind, also we should also be careful of how society is now becoming that now there is no distinction between who a boy or a girl is, and we are all the same. We all can do everything. It's understandable. Empowerment is very important, but we also have to understand that we are humans of biology. As a woman, you are built in a certain way. Your bone structure is different. Your bone density is different. The hormones that are present in you is different. The way you react to things are very different. So we should also put this very, very careful. It's the same with men. We are different biologically, we are very different in a lot of ways. But aside that, most other things we are the same. But we also need to raise our boys. As we said, it's very difficult to raise responsible men, masculine men, if we are all banging on this whole toxic masculinity. A man shouldn't be masculine. He should be able to, the way the West is bringing up children these days, and women need to be all powerful and take care of themselves. They don't need a man. If we continue in that tangent, we get to a point that we're going to have 40-year, 50-year-old single childless women who are thought that maybe my career is the most important thing. I don't need anybody. And in the end, we all end up becoming miserable. Feminine men are not happy, and masculine men too are not happy. So I think we should be careful. If you are raising children, we should help them take care of themselves, but we also need to raise them based on their gender. That is very helpful in a lot of ways. That's a little I'll add. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Emma.
and also I would want to add to what Ima said. There are also age appropriate responsibilities that you need to give them. You don't say because they have to do this, because they have to wash, you bring out, everything for the child to wash. No, it has to be something like you need to take it one step, one step at a time. You do it bit by bit, and then they get it at the long term. So that is what I wanted to add. And
Great. Any more? And then I hope we also have our own affirmations as well as grown-ups before we have kids, or as we have
mhm.
kids. We should equally have our own affirmations that we speak into our lives. All right. So, um, any further contributions, additions, subtractions, so that we wrap up for today? Okay. No, um, nothing further. So, I would like to thank the organizers of this program, Anything Health and Wellness, Rita, for reaching out to me to equally contribute to this good cause, and to our educator today, Ikea. You've shared very insightful um, information with us today. I didn't know the cooking could improve math. So now all my friends who don't know how to, or who are not good in math, I'm going to tell them to go to the kitchen, and then they'll get better from there. Yes. And I feel we've shared a lot of good information here that a lot of people should know before they, I mean, as they have kids or before they have kids, so that we will be able to limit the amount of, you know, uncertainties and things we leave to chance when it comes to how we want life to be for us, and then what we have to do in life. Yeah, so if there is a way we can take this program to the next level, I will be glad, so that we reach out to more people and educate more people, because a lot of people think they know, but then they don't really know. Yeah. So once again, I'll apologize for all the inconveniences caused today by the host due to technical reasons. And to wrap up, I will introduce myself as Menaye, although I'm using somebody's phone. My name is Menaye, officially Ikea Safo. I am the quality assurance manager for Kantanka Herbal Farmer, but personally, I am a spoken word artist, a poet, a voiceover artist, and a writer as well. So you can reach out to me for any of those services, and I'll be glad to do business with you. So, on that note, thanks to everyone also here who contributed and made the session a success. And to those who didn't contribute, please next time, I'll be mentioning your names so that you talk. So prepare your questions for the next session. So, um, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
At the crack of dawn, when new babies are born, serious pains of labor they struggle through not to get drowned. Little stubborn angels they toil to see beautifully grown. Even at dawn, they usually kept the watch alone. If you remember about the idea basa say so, a bra going to no moon sem doso. Na se we ni jeni asumje wa brabo yi mo bewie peya na wo hia boafo. Mpani se boafo ye na, ishanka obo ade se o ma ye na. Oba san ye nim de ni babedie ampa. Misu a meteye mrana ma me tete me. Na ye mi se oni te mama me. Na so say na your dom no so a. Mama nyini fe say. All the tears I had to share during mama's training. Those days, I thought she had the least sympathy. Little did I know, its abundance was shaping me up this beautifully. Mama, you are beautiful. Mama, you are God sent. Sementia, Nyamiama, Mihima, when you move fra wasam, Misu awate, said ye ube home and nim siri. Mama, I mean sure a move so. Means now some pona masari. Dina minye mao. They catch me. Tell me what I would have done without you. When after all my waywardness you still embrace me. Tell me who will always be there to comfort me. If not for that undying love I always find in you. Mama, listen every day I say,
Oh, mama, oh, anything that you want, I go do for you.